Hey guys, welcome to Deep Body Photography. Today we will be reacting to two must-know macro photography tips for razor sharp images. Let's get started.
Hey, what's up everyone? Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye here, and I want to give you a quick or two quick macro photography tips. Something that you should really know to get the best image quality that you can using macro lenses or doing macro photography. So one of the hardest things actually when you get into macro photography is actually getting a sharp shot, getting what you want in that shallow depth of field look, blowing that little ring, that little action figure, whatever you want, blowing it up to real size. And the thing is, you know, I have other tips. I'll list that down below. I have another video talking about macro photography, but I really have two main tips that I think will essentially benefit everyone, no matter if you use an actual, macro one-to-one lens, no matter if you use the extenders or if you use the reverse trick or anything like that. Both of these are pretty much the essential tips to getting sharp shots basically reliably. Now when you get some of these lenses, you'll notice that they have a shallow f-stop like f2.8, f4 or something like that. And just because a lens, and I say this a lot, just because a lens has that 2.8 aperture doesn't mean you should always be shooting at it, and especially in macro photography. Macro photography, you are getting the most shallow depth of field as it is anyway. I'll pop up a picture here where I get a lot of comments saying like, how did you get that so shallow? How is just that little fraction focus on this ring? And essentially it's not easy, but if you know what you're doing, you can do it. And it essentially comes down to two things. And I'll mention a deeper aperture, deeper f-stop, a higher f-stop, and essentially the technique of actually being able to capture something in focus. And essentially what you should do is you should use, or I recommend using, a higher f-stop. Now in that photo that I just showed, that was actually shot at about f6.3. You would think, well, that was shot at like an f1, f2.8 or something like that. And no, because you're already at a macro lens, you're already super close to your subject. You need to get something more reliable. You need a little bit more depth so you're not guessing or you're not hoping to get something. So I always use something above like, f5.6, 6.3, f8, and that's pretty much the range I stay in, no matter that I have a Nikon 60mm 2.8. I recommend, someone else recommends what's a good focal length, and I think a good focal length is between 60mm to 105. Canon's 100mm is one of the best macro lenses made, especially on the Canon side, and I think the Nikon 60mm, which this is a full frame lens, will work on DX as well, but you got to factor in the crop factor. This is a great range for mostly everything, except if you're shooting bugs or something like that, you can't get up that close. So maybe a 105 and above type of thing. So definitely deeper f-stop to give you a little bit more range, a little bit more of that focal plane to get something in focus. And the other thing is actually being able to tilt yourself, so essentially you're holding your camera and you're kind of firing off a little bit, but you're going up and down type of thing. You're rocking yourself, so that way you are in your focal plane, and you're almost guaranteed to get at least, say if you took a shot of 6 images, just doing this, 1 to 2 of them will be definitely in focus where you want. But that way, you set your focus in where you want, kind of slip with the manual or don't focus again, and just fire and just rock a little bit, and you will get something in the exact focus that you wanted out of those 6. Yes, I guess it's kind of, pray and spring, but it's not, because you're doing it for a reason, and you're going to get your best, most optimal image results possible.
Definitely learned something there. I actually used to do my macro photography with f 2.1.8, 2.6. Now I'm gonna try this